Fathergamer podcast.
And welcome, everybody. Welcome to episode 89 of the Fathergamer podcast. 89, the least favorite sexual position, outlawed in at least 3 different states that I know of. And joining me, we've got Mike, otherwise known as Mike Silverhawks No Vowels Petty.
Yes.
How you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good, actually.
It's good. I'm glad to hear. I mean, we're not dying from the heat over here right now.
Not today, at least.
If listeners out there don't know, we are our palatial estate of the Fathergamer compound is in Texas, and right now in our part of Texas, it is, even for our friends in the extremely hot parts of the United States, even for them, they're going, wow, that is terrible. Like, we are feels like, which you and I can have an entire discussion on the feels like condition right now. What is a feels like and what is an actual temperature. But the feels like temperature is like 115 every day, which I've forgotten to break it down for my UK listeners, but is somewhere like 45. I'm not kidding you. Like, you're going to hear that and go, no, yes, it is without a doubt just stupidly hot. And we've broken like every week we've broken some weird record of stuff that hasn't been broken since they were taking these kind of measurements. So it's just stupidly hot, and pretty much my day consists of leaving the house to walk the dog, come back in, close the curtains, and be like a vampire. We have those thermal curtains throughout the entire house, so the house is black. Like, all day long is just like some kind, you can almost hear like a deathly tomb kind of music every time I'm walking around like, we should be walking around with candelabras kind of things in the house, and good evening, welcome to the Gibbs house. But every day it's just hotter and hotter, and we're not even halfway through the summer, and it's just miserable. And we're in Texas, we have one of the most god awful energy distribution, like our grid, as it were, is one of the worst in the United States. It's not set up because we can't be set up. We cannot be connected to the rest of the United States because we're big kids. we're loners. We're all on our own. We're Texans. We do things on our own. And no.
Can I say their name?
Yeah, you can say their name.
ERCOT.
Which
we're
sounds
looking
like,
at you, ERCOT.
Which, if you did the aforementioned horrible sexual position 89, I'm pretty sure you would catch ERCOT. Like, it sounds like something that you take antibiotics to get rid of. Right now, they're asking us to certain parts of the day to keep electricity at a minimum or not use it all. And it's kind of like, okay, no, right now, it is 115 degrees is what it feels like outside. I'm going to use as much electricity for my AC
exactly
as I can, because there is no reason in modern age for me to be sweating on the inside of my house here in the United States. It's just not.
And be at risk of the entire Texas grid going down.
Yeah, it's just absolutely stupid. So most of us, unless we have to get out in it, and of course, we're not in the middle of the pandemic like we were a couple of years ago when it was really cool summer, which I guess was a blessing. But so many people have to go to work, and so they're having to go to work in the middle of all of this.
And this is the same company that told us that we needed to conserve energy during the winter also because their grid was not equipped for sub-freezing temperatures.
Which was the same one, if you know anything about Texas history, right, as of recent history, and most of you guys listening do know a little bit because you heard about all the people, I don't know, dying.
What?
with when we had a cold front, a few, I wouldn't say cold front, a freezing, absolute, just horrible spell in Texas a few years ago. And that was during the pandemic, and that was just miserable because I had COVID during the middle of that, and nothing like having your electricity go on and off in the middle of freezing winter, and being told why you've got 103, 104 fever. Oh, I'm sorry. There's nothing we can do. We're rotating. We're doing brownouts right now. So, yeah.
And I do apologize for the listeners for saying, what? When he said the deaths, because that's technically, that's not something to laugh at. So I apologize.
Absolutely freaking not. But, dude, if anything, that is the thing in the last, I don't know, umpteen years. I'm going to use, that's the third time I've used that in a row. We're having to laugh a little bit at some of this bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, we're at the point now where you hear, oh, guess what? This happened, or that happened, or this happened. And you're just like, not to knock the wind out of this horrible, horrible situation that somebody has left this planet of ours and has, wherever, hopefully, we go at the end of the punching the time card of our existence on this planet.
And I'm not going to even get into the diesel shortage that's happening right now.
Oh yeah,
that's going to cause other issues.
Well, it's not just diesel. We're not going to get super political right now.
Yeah,
you and
that's
I
why I'm not going to do it. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, what I'm saying is, right now we're at a point where you kind of have to, if it's not a laugh, it's a small chuckle to get by, because otherwise we are all going to go insane. And if we're not already there, it's sometimes just you have to. And with days like we've been having here in Texas and in the United States and in the world, because as somebody who watches and listens to and reads the news from all over the planet, I can tell you this: we are all fucked up. We are all there, buddies.
Yeah,
we are. And you know what? It's one of the best things that we have. One thing that we all have in common is, if you're listening to this, you probably love nerd, geek, and fandom. You love that culture. You're just, and that's the stuff we're going to talk about today. And then we will pepper every so often in some stuff like, stupid stuff that certain governors do, or certain stuff that certain other people do. But either way, whoever you vote for, I think we can all admit right now, it is screwed up. and it's time to just let's play some games, let's watch some movies, let's pop some popcorn, and let's just enjoy episode 89 of the Fathergamer podcast. So here we are, bud.
Mm-hmm.
I made a list. We tried to get out the episode much earlier than we are. We will, whether if I have to kill myself doing it, we will get these out every week at the same day. Hopefully, we're planning on Wednesdays. But just in case, we are going to be recording, and I'm holding us to this. We are recording today, which is what? A Thursday.
It's Thursday, yeah.
And we are also going to record on a Sunday, the Sunday following. So
and I will try to get this episode out like Friday morning, hopefully. I'll just do a quick edit.
We will be doing these, getting everything out and getting it up every week, and getting you awesome people hopefully used to hearing us every week, like we should have been all along, and never really were. So, first thing I'd like to do is thank the couple people that checked in on my first stream on Twitter or Twitch. Sorry, one of the T's. I'm going to be doing lots more of those. You've been doing them for a while.
Kind of off and on, yeah.
Where we've decided to start doing kind of like for lack of a better term, we're going to be doing events, sort of like what did I call them? To muster up people to subscribe and to follow and to telethon, for lack of a better term. We're going to be calling telethons, and we're going to pick something like TikTok or Facebook or Twitch or Twitter or any of those things, and we're going to ask for you amazing, fantastic people to come, listen, follow, share, and we're going to do the same. That's the thing, is you follow us, we'll follow you back as much as I can, unless you turn out to be some kind of I don't know, Nazi, and then I'm sorry. I'll still take the follow, but I'm not going to follow back a Nazi. Sorry, but we're going to be doing a lot more stuff, and I would really love to get. That's my big goal, is to get interaction with everybody that's listening, because I know. I see the numbers. I see where stuff is going. I see the fact that we're still getting people listening in the UK and in Canada and Spain and Greece and in places like that. And I'm super excited to talk to everyone and get, whether it be on here or on Instagram or on TikTok or whatnot. I would really love to get to know people out there a little bit more that listen to Fathergamer, because that means a lot to Mike and I. Mm-hmm. If you take time out of your day to listen to us rambling on about fandom, that's a big deal. That's a very big deal to us. So if you see on our Instagram or TikToks or whatever, you see that we're going to be streaming, that would be amazing if you would click on and share and stream, like our streams and talk to us and let us know what you want to watch us play. That's another thing too, is I'm not, no ego aside, I'm not big enough right now that I haven't turned off my DMs. So if you want to DM me on some of those things and let me know stuff you'd like to see us play or talk about or whatnot, I am totally game for that. That would be really fun. And I think Mike would have no problem doing that as well. Except for the DMing stuff. He doesn't like anyone to talk to him or look at him directly in the eyes.
He's not lying.
Mike is totally, he's kind of a prima donna. Every time we record, I have to give him, the typical, goblet of red M&Ms and the blood from from a virgin and that kind of thing. Like it's nothing too big, but it is kind of it's getting really hard to find a bunch of virgins in a college town.
It feeds me.
It feeds you. More on the social media side of things. We've been doing a few things on TikTok. Mike does a lot of posts on TikTok, and I tiptoe into the world of TikTok, and I feel like I've kind of dove in a little bit more now, and I feel like I'm getting it, like I'm understanding it. There is something to get about TikTok. I haven't quite figured out some of the algorithm stuff, and I'm such a freaking nerd that I sit there and go, okay, well, this particular one, I'm going to try this hashtag, and this particular one, I'm going to try this font, and this particular one. Like, I am really big on trying to figure out what works, but
and here I am. I'm just making sure that it gets posted around the same time frame as the social media sites say to do it.
Yeah, but you know what? you have a lot of you do really well. Like, you've actually done very well.
I've done really well with my comedic stuff and a couple other things. Yeah.
And some of the ones I've done pretty well, but it's been mostly it's been the opposite. It's been what hashtag, whatever. And I need to pay more attention to if you post at 5 a.m. and you do it on your head and you you do it with one eye covered, and
sounds about right.
You drink the urine of a sloth. You'll get 13,000 more because people will say this. People will go, you know what? I don't do TikTok and Instagram for the follows because it is what it is, and bull crap. Most people care because that's the whole thing with social media. It is made for you to care. It is a game. You want to be the best around, like nobody was before. You want to catch them all, and it's called followers, and it's definitely a learning process, and I find it fun, but there are days where I'm just like, okay, this was comedy gold. Like, I just posted one recently that was a Thelma and Louise post. I thought, oh my God, I was like laughing all the way until I posted. Like, I was chuckling like every time I would see it because it keeps replaying as you're like getting it ready to post. It's
ready, yeah.
And it's just like, oh, this is gonna be great. Oh, it's got like 4 likes, and it's like, what the hell? And then I thought about it. Most people that even know what this movie is are probably not even on TikTok. So
right,
it is feeding a little bit into that. But then
was it Thelma and Louise? I thought it was Bonnie and Clyde.
No, that's
unless that was a different one.
I've never done Bonnie and Clyde, so it was Thelma and Louise. The one with the car, that's Thelma and Louise. Literally, the car says Thelma and Louise.
For some reason, I thought it said Bonnie and Clyde. I don't know why.
That's probably the reason.
Then I didn't get it either. I'm not sure what the reference was. I just remember that you made it fall.
In
kind of like you did the Batman.
That one, that's recent.
Yeah, that's recent. Yeah.
Batman, and this is spoiler alert, Batman in the Batman, when he uses his glider for the first time, he basically pulls a jackass and falls. It basically looks like some guy got drunk in his backyard and decided to be Batman and jump off the freaking top of his house. It's great. I think it's a great scene. But, it's going to make it all more powerful in the third movie when he's gliding to Metropolis.
Right.
Or some shit. As long as you don't give me that bull crap that they did in Batman versus Superman, where Metropolis is the good side of Gotham. Oh,
right.
It freaking pissed me off to this day. But anyway, which you go back and listen to me in the when we reviewed Batman versus Superman, I totally defended it. I totally did. It's just like episode 1. I completely defended the hell out of that movie when it first came out.
And now I can't stand it.
There are parts that I love, the end of the movie when it says the end. No.
Exactly.
From the moment you hear Duel of the Fates, that movie's great. But up until that movie, it's it's
Are you an angel?
Yeah, or but the biggest problem though is if you're a millennial, you have a different love for that movie than you do if you're Gen X or older.
Yeah, I can see
there
that.
is a different love for that movie, and just I'm pretty sure
because it would have been their first one in theater.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just pretty sure Gen Zs are gonna have a different reaction to the sequels than because I see millennials all the time tearing into the sequels, and I'm just oh my god, they're saying exactly what I said 15 years ago. Okay, so maybe there is something to this. So I don't know, buddy.
For a second there, I thought you dropped off because you had no audio.
I did drop off mentally because I started thinking about Duel of the Fates again and how freaking badass that part is. But anyway, so what else? What else has been going on? Because we rambled for a minute there.
People are already spoiling Love and Thunder.
Yeah, I don't want to get too much into that because I'm seeing it tomorrow. I'm going to see Love and Thunder tomorrow. I'm excited. I have stayed away from spoilers, and now that you said, because I was okay, because I was just about to get to something. So, speaking of TikTok, you and I worked on a really fun TikTok that we're gonna be doing a lot more of these because I really enjoyed it. We took a sound bite that I found from a movie. It was from it was from the movie where they get drunk and they leave their friend on top of the roof. Oh my dear Lord!
Not Hot Tub Time Machine, maybe Bachelor.
No. Oh my dear, why? So there is a movie, a really freaking. Anyway, so we took a clip, and we made a reference to Indiana Jones. It's from a movie, and we I thought it was a great little TikTok, and it's done fairly okay. It isn't done as good as I thought it would do, but it's done okay. The TikTok that I did about comic books, surprisingly, that if you do look at the average for how many people have actually watched it, and it's one of the longer TikToks. If you see that people have watched it all the way through, and liked it, it's actually more successful, because if somebody watches your TikTok all the way through and then likes it and then comments, that's a successful TikTok. And that's what we would like more of, is people to comment. Just comment. Just say something. Even if it's just a little something, just say, hey, great job. Hey, that sucks. Hey, this is awesome. Hey, Eric, what is a position 89? Like let me know, what is ERCOT? And we'll talk, we'll talk. And so, we've talked a little bit about doing some more of these. And you said people are already putting Love and Thunder stuff on TikTok. Like
I found out
spoilers.
something about Mjolnir, and I didn't want to see that because I wanted to watch it in theater, or not theater, but at least once it comes to.
So I am not going to look at any of that until tomorrow, and then tomorrow, after I see, I can tell you, okay, this is not a spoiler. This is a spoiler, and that way I can be your. I can kind of be your judge.
Yeah, because it started off looking like the trailer, like somebody reposted the trailer, and then all of a sudden the scene changed. And I'm like, wait a minute, I don't remember this on the trailer. What the hell?
Oh, I hate that.
Thanks, guys.
I don't know why. I don't know why people feel.
It's not something bad. It's actually something amazing, but still.
No.
Why spoil that?
Spoilers are still. Why?
Yeah.
Why spoil a movie? Why spoil stuff like that? I don't get it. I don't get why. When we were looking for the clip, when we found that clip for the Uncharted / Indiana Jones clip. By the way, it is from the movie The Hangover. So,
see, that's what I was thinking. I don't remember if I mentioned that or not.
Todd Phillips, director of The Joker. So,
because I thought I mentioned Hangover and then Bachelor right after that.
Yeah, no, it's from The Hangover.
Okay.
But, posting from a movie that's that old, and by the way,
that old.
One more,
which is not technically that old either.
One more of us going around and getting lost in nerdlation here. You were talking about the movie about you thought it was Bonnie and Clyde, and no, it was Thelma and Louise. The Falling is, and this is a spoiler. I'm sorry, but this is a 20-something-year-old movie. I'm going to spoil it for you. So if you don't want to hear, it literally will only be for like 30 seconds at the most. On the count of five. 5. Okay, so at the end of the movie, rather than get caught by the sheriff's department and the police and everybody that's been chasing them, they go, I want to keep going. And they go, okay. And they hold each other's hands and they drive off the Grand Canyon.
That's right. Yeah, okay.
So
I may have seen that movie like once.
Yeah, that's what most people, unless you're just a really big fan, that's probably all you're going to see it. But
that's what I figured happened. That's why I was like, I went ahead and liked it because I was like, yeah, that's pretty funny.
You better like it because you're my friend and I will tell you. But
exactly.
It's
like you just liked a whole bunch of my stuff out of random today.
No, I liked it because I liked it. But, but I'm also really bad because I'll sit there and think and edit and work on something and post and repost and all this kind of stuff until I get something posted, and then I'll just I'll be like, I'm done with this site for now.
Exactly.
And never mind the fact that I have 15, 20 people that just posted something I need to go look at. So I've been doing my best to try to make sure that I do that a lot more. But Getting moving on from social media stuff. We'll talk about some of that stuff later. One of the first things we're going to talk about today, this isn't what's in your system, but it kind of is what's in your system. A particular game that Mike and I have apparently kind of fallen into becoming, I don't know, older statesmen would be the right term, or we have definitely become very knowledgeable about this game, and people like to hear about it from us. And we're not going to talk about it long and hard during, like every episode and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But there are things, even if you're not a fan of the series, I think you might find it interesting just as a fan of pop culture and of movies and TV shows and all that kind of stuff. But we're going to talk for just a moment about Fortnite. So this is our official Fortnite talk. And somewhere eventually we'll have some kind of music right here.
Music
Fortnite
specifically.
talk! Fortnite talk! Fortnite talk! Yeah, something like that.
Fortnite
kind of
talk.
thing. Fortnite, baby. Yeah. So right now in Fortnite, one of the big things that's going on is Indiana Jones has made his way onto Fortnite, and they have the unlockable stuff that you can do for him. There is a whole host of challenges to unlock him as a character for the season,
And
that is yours to keep. They weren't okay. There was one that was.
There was
terrible.
at least two that had to do with the same location.
Okay, but that was only one of them was the actual Indiana Jones one. The other one was the for another quest line,
Correct.
but exactly the same
location and
challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
This is for all the people that don't think that there isn't a story mode in Fortnite. There quite literally is a very robust story to Fortnite now.
Mm-hmm.
We're in, what season is this of?
It is Chapter 3, Season 3 or 2, yeah.
Yeah, so we're dealing with 13 or 14 seasons of Fortnite. So that's a good 4 years or so, if not more.
Because they used to have seasons first, all by themselves. Like they had up to Season X, I think, and then they started doing chapters, and then seasons.
Yeah, they were season X is season 10, and season 10 was the end of a chapter of the first chapter, and so we're in I would say we're maybe in the middle of if it holds true, we're about in the middle of the second chapter. And there's certain similarities that are starting to befall like the chapters. Like there's some correlation between the last season and this season for the chapters. They've even gone so far, they just released a package that it's kind of interesting, that has emotes and back bling and stuff for I was sitting there going, damn it.
I really like it and I really want it.
I like the Jonesy one. The Jonesy's the one, especially because they have a representation for the character of something from each season, like the color scheme for the season. It's part of the outfit. It's like a jumpsuit or something.
Jumpsuit, or sweatsuit in the US.
I forgot which season it is, but it's the one where the banana guy, I always forget his name. He's Peely. Where Peely was one of the big, huge things for this season, and especially the girls' version of it reminds me of the sweatsuit in
was it the
Kill Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked just like Kill Bill almost. And I was just
Yeah.
like, that's great. Even for the guy version, I'm
That's
like,
why
oh my
I kind of
God,
want at least one of the girls.
And then the backbling stuff is kind of funny because it all kind of reminds me of stuff. And I first season was just first series. You know, as somebody who watches a lot of BBC stuff, I get so confused with season and series because it's so interchangeable with US and what's a season, what's a series is so interchangeable. The terminology, I get thrown off so bad. But anyway, one of the big things with the Indiana Jones thing that's going on is they have the that both of us were talking about. They have the area that Indiana Jones from Raiders does the whole like sandbag thing where he weighs the sand and the blow darts and all that kind of stuff. That level was a pain in the rear to get through the first several times.
Yes.
And then it's at one point
because everybody wants to do it.
Oh yeah, everybody's camping it. So not only are you trying to, it has 4 or 5, I think it's 4. It has 4 of these totems that are standing up, and you've got to turn them in the right way. And there's a clue to what they're supposed to look like, each totem, throughout the area that the things at the like the hidden cave is at.
I want to say Legends of the Hidden Temple, but that's a game show.
Temple. But the problem is everybody and their brother is either trying to do the same thing. So you're having to watch out for not an AI. You're having to watch out for real people. So what they're going to do is completely unexpected, which I'm going to argue is probably harder than an actual like story-driven game at this point.
Yes,
because you have no idea what someone's going to do.
Exactly.
They're trying to unlock it and get through the thing just like you are too. And then on top of it, now they added a secondary quest that people need to do this week. That's in that same temple area.
Yeah.
So
it's an AI robot, or not AI robot, but an AI computer system that if you are a fan, if you know what in the Destiny game, Destiny 2, there's a character called Failsafe in that's also an AI.
Yeah, it sounds
almost exactly the same. So I wonder if they use the same actress.
Well, they it's really funny.
Her interactions are great.
The story that they're doing this season is just funny. I mean, and fun. And you've got, you've got Indiana Jones, so you got that going on. You've got this thing called Vibin, because what happened last season was there was a big fight, this huge fight with this group that was basically trying to take everything over. Anyway, we supposedly destroyed them with the help of The Rock again. And by the way, he's in the game.
The Rock in the form of a character called Foundation, by the way.
But when he's not in this game and not selling his energy drink or his blood or whatever the hell he's trying to hawk this week. And I like The Rock, don't get me wrong. It's just, let's be honest, the man is a NASCAR car, pretty much. He walks around selling.
Bling everywhere, yeah.
It is... you've got that going on, that whole story where that's over with, and so everything's supposed to be a little more chill, even though you still have the 22-minute cycle going on, so people are literally still dying. and coming back every 22 minutes and an endless cycle of hell, which we found out if you listen to our last episode. In the comics that came out for DC last year, Batman found out that every 22 minutes that people pretty much die and come back every 22 minutes. They don't remember what happened, but they have an emotional resonance that is they remember. So they basically have a PTSD.
They have a grudge towards people because of it. Yeah.
It is almost like this PTSD though that has like been embedded into these people because every 22 minutes they've been having to fight to the death for who knows, maybe even decades at a time. And so you have that going on. There's a big Marvel connection about to start at some point because there's a Marvel comic line that has started. And it's talking about it in the comics that are out right now. The first issue is out, but it hasn't really started in the game yet. But you know that's coming. You have, again, like the whole vibe and like that quest line going on. The next season doesn't start till September, so there's a lot of filler in between. And on top of it, Darth Vader, ever since Obi-Wan, Darth Vader has been landing with essentially a color guard of 2 stormtroopers, has been landing somewhere on the map every time you play, and you can take him and the color guard out and take his lightsaber. So you can literally have moments like we had where someone dressed up like Kratos riding a freaking wolf killed me with Darth Vader's lightsaber. Like, you can have these crazy moments in Fortnite right now. And so, you know, I'm sorry, but this is probably one of the greatest, weirdest, most fun gaming experiences that you can have, and you don't really have to spend any money.
You don't have to, if you don't want to. That's why Mike and I have just decided it's just, especially in a time when gas or petrol or whatever you want to call it is so damn expensive, it's nice to be able to play a game that I don't have to spend $50 on like every week and play, even though both of us have spent way too much money on this game. You a little more than me, but still. And I've had to scale down a lot because of that. But
like one of the things in the in the comics, one of the stuff going on the story wise, they had an entire thing that was trying to find the Sith artifacts, and so you could find the some Sith artifacts that were on the map while doing Indiana Jones stuff, while like doing other stuff. And so I don't know, I just love how much fun and how much I look forward to the new missions and stuff every week. Like, I'm doing that now, and I'm so happy that I found, like, I haven't been able to find an MMO or anything that keeps me coming back every week, but this game has. So hopefully, you know, I'm going to end things on there unless you have something else to interject with it. But
well, I wanted to give a shout out to the unnamed or unknown player in Fortnite. While doing the Indiana Jones mission / the AI mission, more specifically the AI portion of the mission, I would land at the temple for several matches in a row, mind you. And then also, like, dying and coming back, and then dying and coming back again, and then finding them again. They were super sweet. They were camping, but only camping so that they wait until somebody pops the temple open. That was literally all they were there for. And they didn't want to kill anybody unless they were shot at. And they gave me one of their guns, and then they came back out again and got another gun for themselves, and then it brought me ammo multiple times in a row. And they played a Street Fighter character each time, and I was Darth Vader during that time frame, and we would see each other at the same spot each time. And so just shout out to the awesome person.
Yeah, that's some great,
because that area was so hostile. Just to see that, terrible. It was amazing. That might have been the same person that was the Mighty Thor the other day too, potentially, because the Mighty Thor helped me find a couple of the runes the other day also.
I had somebody help me with the there was one of the missions where you had to do the mirror.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out where exactly to start it, and they knew what I was doing. They could tell, but they were on the enemy team.
Yeah.
And they literally he had a point emoticon. He just basically pointed, and he was like, "Oh, okay,
yeah,
I did it." And he gave me the "yay," and then he walked off, and I was like,
"That's
okay."
amazing.
He didn't, and then I killed him. But no, I'm just joking. But it was that's all you hear about in Fortnite is the 12-year-old kid who basically sits there in camps.
Exactly.
And you do get a hell of a lot of that. I'm not gonna lie. But I think once you realize that there is some story in this game, and there is some fun to be had, and there is some great stuff to do with friends, it's not quite the hurdle of a game that you thought it was.
Exactly.
And so
you can actually have fun with it.
Exactly. So try it out. If you don't like it, understandable. We're not going to talk about Fortnite every episode, but when new things, we probably will some but we definitely will talk about Fortnite because there's quite a bit, especially with the comics and all the new stuff coming out. And you and I both know there's eventually going to be flipping cartoon or something at some point. There's no way in hell that this franchise isn't going to be getting something to that degree.
I hope so. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
So changing right quick from Fortnite to something else that I am a huge fan of, and I don't have this on our list, and I'll go back. Actually, we'll do what was on the list. Fall Guys. It's another free-to-play game. Only reason we're mentioning those right now is because both of us have been very broke. Thanks economy. And two, there's a connection. There was a very big connection where you had to play basically 100 rounds of Fortnite Fall Guys to unlock a character. And then I realized, holy crap, I still like Fall Guys.
Right. Unfortunately, I never finished that mission, but
it's
fine.
I did. Yeah, it was not. It's not the most important character to get.
It was a cool skin, though.
I got to a point where it's okay, I have 60 left. I'm gonna freaking get this because I've done too much. I've wasted too much of my life not to get it at this point. But they have this season. If you join, you get a free. I think everybody did. They get the season for free, and the big thing for the season is two things. One is it's Assassin's Creed themed, and the other one is Mechagodzilla at the very end of the season.
Oh, that's right. I need to go back and play.
I don't know if I will unlock it because that's a lot of playing.
Yeah,
but it's still pretty cool. I have an assassin, and I have they added they had an entire big thing of Halo stuff, and I unlocked a bunch of Halo stuff, and they added some more Assassin's Creed stuff, and I unlocked that. So they keep adding new fun things like that, but they have special play modes that are specifically themed around Assassins or Halo or something like that. And so they had one where you can go invisible and you have to steal candy, and the other group is trying to stop you from stealing the candy. And that was the assassin one, and you could unlock the Apple of Eden to strap to your back, which is one of the big plot devices in Halo. Not Halo, but in Assassin's Creed. And then, they've had a lot of, like I said, a lot of connection between that and between a few other games and game types. And so, if you haven't played that or aren't aware of it, I would keep an eye out. I think, especially now that Rocket League is another game they're tied to. It's the same company that does Rocket League, or publishes Rocket League and Fortnite and whatnot. So I think if you want freebies, I would keep a lookout if you're a fan of either one of those, because I mean, it's a free game. It's free stuff. You might as well play.
Yeah.
And now the only game, and we're going to go into what's in your system right now.
What's in your system?
The only game that I've been playing that is free, not free, sorry, is not a free game, is I've been playing Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Nice.
Now, Mike, did you ever play any of the Knights games?
I have not, but I want to.
Do you know about them? Do you know anything about the, like, you know, what they're about? And
I don't know much about them, unfortunately, no.
Knights of the Old Republic are a series of games and essentially comics and books, and they're kind of considered the extended universe now. They're not really considered canon, even though
before Disney extended universe.
Yeah, anything before Disney. The dark times.
The better times.
Tomato on that. I don't necessarily totally agree.
I don't necessarily totally agree either. I'm just stirring the pot.
That's what you do a lot. I think there was. I think there is some great stuff that unfortunately got kind of left behind during the changeover from Disney. But at the same time, I kind of understand why they didn't go, hey, you know what? You know what's one thing we're going to do? We're going to make it incredibly hard for our creative people to make new content. We're going to tie their arms behind their back and make it very incredibly hard to come up with new stuff that's not 100% tied into 8,000 different books,
right? And
30, different 1,000 comics, and like I understand the whole idea. It's just kind of a bummer when you've read all of that content, and especially at one time, that was the only content,
right?
Because there was no movies, there were no cartoons, there was nothing. And so when you see something like, certain characters go by the wayside because they're no longer canon, it is bummy. Like you do get a little bummed. But then it's kind of exciting because that's one thing Disney has been doing, is going, okay, yes, that stuff isn't canon, but the stuff that we really like, we're going to cherry pick, and we're going to essentially bring back that character or a version of that character and put them into something to do with Star Wars. Just look at Grand Admiral Thrawn. He was a character that was from a book series that was considered, one of the biggest book series of Star Wars history, because it was kind of what brought Star Wars back from the brink of just being nowhere anymore. There was no cartoons, there was nothing, and then they brought these trilogy of books out, and it had Grand Admiral Thrawn in it, and he was the new Darth Vader. He was the new, main baddie, and so to see him show up in, spoiler alert, Rebels, that was such a huge treat, and not to know that he was going to show up there, and then, on top of not knowing, you get a slightly different version of the character, and you're not exactly going to know what this character is going to do. And I don't know, it's kind of fun. To me, that's kind of fun. But one of the things that got thrown to the wayside was a lot of the Knights of the Old Republic stuff, which dealt with characters that were around, sometimes even 1,000 years before Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
And so the first game, Knights of the Old Republic 1, was incredibly memorable. Like, it was made by BioWare, so that automatically, that was during their heyday. I don't know if you're do you know who BioWare is?
I'm familiar, yeah.
They did a Mass Effect and those kind of games. And it was, the first game was just so amazing that when the second game came out, it was done by a different team. I just remember being so angry. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, why would y'all do that? Like,
something in the story, or are we talking like why did you change publishers? Or
no. Why did you change a developer? Why would you not keep it BioWare? Like, you keep in mind, this is before I was really working hardcore into gaming and knew, oh yeah, by the way, not every game can be made. Like, games don't come out in a week. Like, nor are they done in a vacuum. And so it was. I just remember not being as big a fan of KOTOR 2. And then years later, I remember hearing from people, oh yeah, KOTOR 2, Knights of the Old Republic 2 is so good. And I'm like, yeah, okay. It's right. You're telling me this. Is this some of that bullshit, like rewriting history? Freaking episode 1 is amazing bullshit. Like, okay, keep preaching to somebody who cares, buddy.
Right.
And so KOTOR 2, I kept getting told it's a great game. It's a great game. You need to play it. I was like, no. And then recently they released the re-release on Switch of the original Knights of the Old Republic. I'm like, okay, keep in mind, in my mind, Knights of the Old Republic, one of my favorite RPGs of all time, much less one of my favorite Star Wars games of all time. And I remember playing it going, ooh, this didn't age well. Like, this didn't age well at all.
Yeah.
Like, this is kind of rough. And so I'm playing it, and I'm just like, okay, so I finally beat it. It took me a good 6 months because I kept playing it and being like, I don't like this as much as I used to like it. Like, it, and there's this thing that I keep forgetting that time likes to remind me is remakes of games or re-releases of games. is the best compliment you can give them is when they make you think of them as the way they were. Right. So if you play it and you go, oh my God, it's just as good as it was back then. Well, odds are it isn't, because time and technology and everything has changed. And there's usually no way in hell a game can be quite as good as it was. Like, I'm going to catch from some, shit for this, but like, you go back and play even some old Nintendo games and you're like, old 8-bit games and whatnot. You're like, ooh, I don't think this is as good as I remember. And that's not every game. That's like, there's a lot of games that still, good gameplay is good gameplay is good gameplay.
Right.
But story-wise or something else, it just doesn't hold quite the way that it did. I can tell you this, KOTOR 2 is way better than I remember, and it holds up, at least for me, way better than the original Knights of the Republic. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm playing it, and I'm just like, I'm enjoying it. I'm sitting there, and I'm feeling like I'm playing. I know. Graphically, it's nowhere near the same.
Right.
I know it's not a modern game, but story-wise and everything, I'm enjoying it. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm really enjoying this game, and I'm just kind of like, okay, the writing is really tight. The cinematics are pretty decent. Mm-hmm. The action, okay, that's probably the most dated part of it, but it's still pretty good.
Right.
If you don't know, it does have that old role-playing game, attack, wait kind of combat.
Okay.
That you're familiar with if you played any, especially old, like Final Fantasy.
I was going to say Final Fantasy, yeah.
Or any of that kind of game. So it's got that going for it. But it's, I'm a huge JRPG fan. So I love those kind of games. I love me some good JRPG or just role-playing games in general. And I'm floored by how much I'm enjoying this game. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sitting there going now, oh my God, why didn't I get the limited run version of this? Like, right. I wish I had grabbed that, because I am enjoying it way more than I thought I would. And
for those that you are not familiar with limited run, it is a company that brings physical media versions of games that were digital only.
Yes, I'm waiting I'm currently waiting for the Shredder's Revenge.
Nice.
The new
that's on pre-order still, isn't it?
Yes, until the 24th of this month.
Okay.
So and that's, I don't know if that's gone or not by the time you listen to this, but they limit their runs, hence limited run. They limit them to a certain time and date. They will say, okay, for the next 3 weeks, we'll pre-order copies of this game. After that point, no more copies. And there's even a couple sites out there that limit per copy. Mm-hmm. So there's only 3,000 copies of such game, because there's like 5 or 6 of these sites now that do physical versions of the games. But I've also found this is the first game that I've seen. It may not be the first one they've done, but this is the first time I've seen this where you can pre-order some of the limited run stuff on Amazon and on GameStop. So I was kind of like, really? That's interesting.
That is kind of cool, yeah. And I know that some games they do also have like a Best Buy release and things like that too.
Yeah, they've done it, or they'll sell the cases or the collector's edition, just the collector's edition at like Best Buy, or the case, like the metal case or whatnot. One of the cool things, though, that they're doing with the Shredder's Revenge copy is back when the NES version of the original arcade version of Ninja Turtles came out. When you bought it, it came with, in the United States, it came with a coupon. And I did find out in UK it did as well. From Ross, our buddy Ross, he let me know about this. I think Jamie did too. That you could get, if you bought the game, you got a coupon for a personal pan pizza from Pizza Hut.
Oh, that's badass.
And so that, and I still have a copy of the original game. And it has its copy of the personal pan pizza coupon.
Nice.
And so now I'm going to be able to get a copy of the new Ninja Turtles game, the Shredder's Revenge, and it has the and I'll probably never use that coupon. Like, the only thing I wish it came with was the Coming Out of Our Shells audio cassette. And I don't know if you guys remember that or not, but here in the United States, they had a Coming Out of Our Shells tour, and it was a live tour that went around the United States. And I did think it hit a few places in the UK.
I think so, yeah.
Where it was Ninja Turtles, and they had like 12 or 13, like, it's a lot of songs.
Yeah.
And they would rock this house down. They did a full tour, and they would sing and dance, and they looked similar to the suits from the movies, except for they didn't have shells because they were coming out of their shells, and they were wearing like denim jean jackets and stuff to make them look so cool for the time period, and like tubular. And so, yeah, I'm really excited to play that game. I've watched some people stream it, and I'm excited. And I happened to go into GameStop today, and they were showing the trailer for the that collection that's coming out too, that has the original stuff, the Cowabunga collection. I don't know if you've seen that or not. And it's got the original arcade games in it. And so by the end of the year, I'm going to have all the Ninja Turtles games on my Switch. So I am a happy camper.
Wait, say that again now.
The Cowabunga collection. Have you not heard of that?
No. Yeah,
there is a collection coming. It'll be sometime. I think I saw
GameStop or Limited Run.
GameStop.
Okay.
I think I saw that they're going to have a. It's going to have like every version of all the different games they did, because they did several different arcade games, like different versions of the arcade games. And then they had several different arcade games, and they had the Turtles in Time, and then they had the Game Boy games, and they had, I think it even has the Game Boy Advance game. It has an ungodly amount of games of Ninja Turtle games from all over time.
And these are physical copy?
It's a physical copy,
That's
and
cool.
you can pick it up. You can. It's pre-orderable. They haven't. For a long time there, they weren't giving a date for it. But today, when I was at GameStop, they were giving a date. I believe in the next few months. So, I'm pretty excited. Like, I love, and it's going to be multiplayer. So we'll be able to play the original Ninja Turtles arcade games, I believe, online. So,
well, when I said physical copy, I meant like the NES cartridge and things like that.
Yeah, but it's all of it into one.
It's a digital collection. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, okay. It's a digital collection.
Like Konami does sometimes, or Capcom does sometimes. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Now you're making me want to look it up. The release date for the Cowabunga collection, and right now it just says the 2000 this year. Mm-hmm. How many games are on the Cowabunga collection? The Cowabunga collection spans only 5 years of retro game releases from 1989 to 1994, which was the best years. So it has all 13 games from that time period, plus the different variations of them and whatnot.
Okay.
So
then I have heard of that. Then I think that sounds
that one, but that's pretty much.
Because I think I saw it on PlayStation also.
I believe so. Were there other games, Ninja Turtle games? Yes. There's been several Ninja Turtle games. Were there any other good Ninja Turtles games? No, there really hasn't been. So I would say Cowabunga Collection is probably, that Cowabunga Collection, the Shredder's Revenge is probably the first Ninja Turtles game that looks pretty good and promising since around that time period. And that's me being very like Gen X of me and whatnot. But yeah, I'm sorry. I as someone who absolutely loves almost every variation of the Ninja Turtles, they have not been good games, a good chunk of them since that time period. So, and that is something you and I've decided that will be sometime around when we get that collection. You and I are going to be doing a run through of the games and some of the series and stuff, and that might be one of our first big Patreon things. So some of it will, and some of it won't. We'll figure it out. Let us know, listeners, and we will figure out how we're going to do it, because I would love to rewatch the movies, which I did during the pandemic, but I'll do it again. In some of the series and break it down, and who knows, I'm very lucky to have become friends with some of the people that worked on the original comics and stuff. So maybe, who knows? Maybe we'll get some people on. We could talk Ninja Turtles. Some Ninja Turtles.
Speaking of games, I am very tempted. I think I may have mentioned this before. I forget if it was on this one or not, but I am very tempted to do a stream playthrough of the Peppa Pig game. Just for the grins.
You have fun with that, buddy. You have fun with that. Well, what's fun? I played the Rugrats, the original PlayStation 1 game. I played that not too long ago.
Nice.
Yeah, let me tell you. One, just because a game is old doesn't make it mean it's going to be good.
Right.
But it is fun to remember. Like, you're just like, wow, this is pretty bad. But it is pretty amazing to remember Peppa Pig game. Oh my god, dude, that's just wrong.
And that's a new game, though.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Like new, like as in
within the last few years.
Did you buy this game?
Not yet.
You did?
I did not yet.
Oh, why would you?
Because I want to stream it, just because. just for the lulls. Just for the laughs.
No, I get what lulls is, and I think you should be hunted because you said it, but well, if you're doing that, then we've got to figure a way for me to play the Superman 64 game. So, well, because that's just as torturous. By the way, listeners, that is my absolute. That is my litmus test for one of the worst games of all time. So,
what about E.T.?
E.T. is really bad, but I have so much hate for Superman 64 that I don't know. There's actual hate for that game. If you can hate an inanimate object as much as you could hate something, it destroyed my childhood is kind of how I feel.
Wow.
It didn't, but it was so bad. It was just, we were married already. I was really young.
Him and Tara, not me.
Yeah, we were married, but no, I was married, and I had saved up extra money for the game because we were so broke, and I did a bunch of odd little jobs it's sort of like how I got my PS5.
Right.
Did a bunch of odd stuff to be able to afford to get a PS5. Well, I get my copy of Superman 64, and let's put it this way: within a few days, I tried to drive over it with my car. I was so mad, and then I found out how strong those frickin' cartridges are for the 64. They were very well made.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, the Babbage's was very nice and actually let me return the game.
Nice.
Even though it had part of the tag ripped off the sticker from me trying to drive it over. So it was very lucky for me not to try to burn it with fire. It was that bad of a game. So I guess as we'll close up because we've got another episode this week. I want to talk for just a second. Going to get a little more into it later. One of the other last things that have been in my system, and when we do what's in your system, it can be anything that's like in your brain, essentially. It doesn't necessarily have to be a game. It can be a movie, a TV show, or it can be a book series or whatever. And we've talked a lot about Star Wars this week, and so this feels fitting. I've been reading pretty hot and heavy the High Republic Star Wars stuff.
Yes.
I don't know how much you know about this series, or if you know much at all about it.
I barely know anything scratching the surface of anything having to do with Star Wars when it comes to books.
It takes place roughly 200 years plus before Luke.
Okay.
Which I love how that is like the BC. The BL is like the BC of the Star Wars universe and has been for quite a long time. It's A New Hope is pretty much the sticking point of what time period things are in
the
Star
starting
Wars.
point. Yeah, exactly.
In the High Republic, it kind of deals with a time period when I would say the Jedi are at their prime. Like this is them before they got arrogant, where they are in the prequel movies. Like there's still some arrogantness to them, but they definitely are. They're catching their issues. They're figuring out, okay, this is where we need to work on. They're a good bunch of people, and they've done something really fun that reminds me of the older Star Wars books and comics and stuff. The the stuff that a lot of it isn't canon, like we talked about earlier. They have comics and not video games. They have comics and novels, and they have young adult novels. They have novels for kids, like little bitty, like almost like the Golden Books type of things.
And this is current canon, right? This is Disney canon?
This is Disney canon.
Yeah.
So, okay. I would say like the very first book, which is Light of the Jedi. It's a good starter. Mm-hmm. It is a starter book of the series. It is a novel. It's kind of slow because it is world building, but once you get past that, and I hate to say that is one of my least favorite things to say about anything, is like once you get past that really boring part,
right?
It gets really good. But the fact that they go into comics and like they have a regular series, which is 15. I think they're only doing 15 issues, and then they have they have a Marvel series, and they have an IDW series, which is the Adventures of, which I didn't realize IDW was technically owned by Marvel now.
That's interesting. That kind of makes sense.
I didn't know that. I had no idea, but apparently they're under the same banner now, or they're connected in some capacity. And then there's two or three other small series that are just like mini series. Like there's one that's like a 4-part that's about a monster hunter that's sort of like in the current Harry Potter. What's the new Harry Potter? Huh?
What?
Yeah, like Hagrid, but like what's the new Harry Potter movies that aren't Harry Potter?
Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, there's sort of like Fantastic Beast mixed with Monster Hunter. The character is hunting Star Warsian monsters and beasts and stuff, and it's very interesting. And there's another series that deals with like it's a murder mystery. This kind of reminds me of Training Day, which is a really good movie. And then they have the Prime 2 comics and whatnot. But what's going to happen is they're going to end. All of it's going to end really relatively soon. The comics, the novels, all that stuff. And then they're going to start in around October, November into a new chapter, which takes place from, and I might be wrong on this, and I purposely haven't gone too much into it, but from what I'm understanding, it takes place before this stuff, like a long time before this. Okay. And then there's going to be a third part, like next year sometime, which will take place after this stuff. So they're almost doing the prequel, sequel, and all that thing to tease you with the story and to let you know. I don't know. It's some great reading, and if you really enjoy that connective Star Wars universe, do yourself a favor, do some reading. There's a lot of YouTube stuff. See if it's your cup of tea, and
I've already added it to my Audible.
Yeah, great. Like I said, the first one is a bit slow, but after that it gets much better. And from what I understand, this is a cool thing. I hear there's going to be a TV series set in that time period, whether it be animated or live action.
Nice.
Also, there will be possibly a game and a few other things set in that time period. I like it because I'm, as someone who absolutely loved the current Obi-Wan series and likes the Boba Fett stuff, and even absolutely loves Mandalorian. I'm ready for us to get out of that time period. Like, I'm
Right.
ready for all the Luke and Leia and all that shit to be gone. Like, I'm ready to be 100, 200 years in the future and the past, away from all of that stuff.
That's what was nice about Rebels, because it was like after the fact.
Rebels was,
it has
was
its
before,
tie-ins, but
Rebels was before A New Hope, but it was its own thing to a point towards the and then when you got towards the end, it started.
Was it?
And then after, if you watch Rebels all the way through, here, spoiler alert, Rebels all the way through,
because Lando was young.
the very last episode shows a time gap, speeds up, and it actually takes place after Return of the Jedi, like the very end of the last episode.
On Rebels, you said?
On Rebels, yeah.
Okay. Which I've seen the whole way through, so
which
I think
if you're going to be watching the Star Wars stuff that's coming, especially the a particular dual wielding lightsaber Jedi that was a Padawan of a certain Vader.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to be watching her show, I would recommend 1,000% make sure that you watch Rebels before you watch her show that's coming out soon. I don't know exactly how soon, but it's coming out pretty soon.
You're talking.
I have a feeling, a pretty big feeling, especially who they're casting. That is basically going to be the live action Rebels TV series. So you probably are going to want to watch it.
When you say casting, are they? They're going to be using the same actress, right? Or are they using a younger version?
Other characters. They've been casting other characters for the series, and one of which apparently is a certain pilot of a certain ship that's in Rebels, and a few other characters.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited.
I am too.
Rebels is one of my favorite things that Disney has done in the last several years. So
yeah.
It's a bunch of goodness that I'm really excited for. And as we're about to leave this episode, I do want to say one more thing that we've been watching, and it's been at least in my system. We might get into more of this on our next episode, which will be very soon. There was a special cut made of Obi-Wan.
Yes.
A fan took it upon himself to cut out all of what he considered the filler of Obi-Wan. Some I agree, some I disagree, some I'm completely on board 100% with. Some I'm like, I enjoyed it, but I do get that, yes, let's be honest, this was supposed to be a movie. You can tell it was supposed to be a movie, and they turned it into a series. They said, okay, this is obviously not long enough for a series. We're going to have to add a few things, and they did, and it feels like it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was still a decent series as a whole, but it didn't feel like a series. It felt like a very long movie that was cut up.
Right.
And you do yourself a favor by watching it all at one time rather than watching it like weekly. It feels better, and I'm pretty sure we're probably going to end up getting another season. I would be very shocked if we don't get another season.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, if I remember correctly, originally they had planned for a trilogy of movies. So, like, it would be very shocking if we don't get another season. And this is a very big spoiler. Where it leaves off, you still have a lot of development for Obi-Wan to learn certain things, and he hasn't met certain people, re-met them, and talked to them, and I just can't see a series like an Obi-Wan series not having him not meet up with Yoda or, a few of the other characters and getting down the force-sensitive ghost thing a little bit better, a little bit better down.
Yeah.
And so I would be very shocked if that doesn't happen. So, but anyway, they made this cut where they took everything out, and instead of being, what's the series? The series cut is like, the series altogether is like 4 and a bit hours.
3 and something, yeah, like 3 and change.
Yeah, and this person cuts it down to like 2.5 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
I sat and watched it. They made it a free download, which is the only way that I'm going to have my own copy of this show, I have a feeling, because I don't think Disney's going to make it to able to buy digitally anytime soon. I think they're going to want to keep it.
They're going to want to keep it on the streaming service, yeah.
Yeah, so this might be the only way that I get it. So, personally, I kind of almost would love to burn it, but it's not that great of a quality. Because of the file size, I'm pretty sure it's not even 4K. Like, I can't see it being that way. But anyway, it is a really fun cut. I enjoyed it. It fits well. It makes me want to see another movie like this. And it completely backs up what I've been saying all along, that that the Han Solo movie should have been a series.
Yes.
Like, from day one. Like, absolutely would have made a better series. And it's not too late, Disney. It's not too late. You still have the actors.
Yep.
You can still do all that cool shit with Darth Maul. Like he had that cameo at the very end of the series, of the movie. Come on. Just give me a TV series of young Han. We've got the actor. We've got it all. Just do it. Do it. Do it.
Do it.
Do it. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for listening to us, listening to me ramble. It's getting late. I'm getting tired. I know Mike's tired.
Yeah.
We've got a lot more stuff in store for you, everybody listening, in the next few months. And I would absolutely love for our listeners to start communicating with us some more. And I don't know. What do you got to say, Mike? You've been pretty quiet.
I've been pretty quiet, yeah. I will. Obviously, it's going to air later on this week. I'm going to try to get it out on Saturday. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you for getting that out. And, thank you again, everybody, for listening. It really means a lot. And it's really cool to be back. And I know that I've been rambling, but you know what? I have been locked up in my nerd, sanctuary away from everybody for so long that it's so great to be back. And I'm just so excited. And it's going to be so extremely fun to continue this process with everybody listening. So thank you, everybody. And thank you. And like I always say, achieve greatness, but also go out there and make this world a better place than when you found it. Thank you, everybody. Have a fantastic day.